Hello, welcome to a special episode of the Stress Knits podcast. I'm Stacy, also known as Stress Knits Yarns on Instagram. Stacyelstone on Instagram as well if you want some more personal stuff. And yeah, this is it. So, happy 2019. Crazy. 2018 went by so fast, and I already feel like 2019 is going by really fast. We're only, 4 days in? It's crazy. So today's January 4th, 2019, and before I put up a normal podcast for the year, which is going up next week, I just really wanted to touch base, give you some updates on both life and business side of stuff, and just really hit the ground running because I'm feeling very motivated to just hit the ground running with this thing. One, apologies for my stuffy nose. I have a bit of a cold. It happens. Yeah, so there's that. My dog is being insane, which is why if she just woke up, Eliza, I'm gonna be so mad. Hey, chill. Which is why this is the 4th time I'm recording this, so I'm a little annoyed, and also I have no idea what I've talked about, so that's why I'm starting over. We're just gonna go for it. So, if you are a new viewer, this is not a normal podcast, but welcome. You're free to start here, or you are free to move along into a previous podcast, or you're free to just turn me off and never watch me again. You do what you want to do. And if you are returning to the podcast, hi, welcome. Again, this is not a normal thing. It's going to be pretty short, hopefully, and yeah, so we're just going to talk about goals, updates, life, New Year reflective things. So, first things first, I started this podcast 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago. I started January of 2016. It was my last semester of college in West Virginia. I went to Marshall. Yes, the one from the movie. And, yeah, I was bored because I had no real classes to take. I front-loaded myself my other years at college and took 18 credit hours every semester. Until the last one. I actually only needed 3 credit hours to graduate at that point, but being a resident advisor, I had to do 12 credit hours to keep my job. And that's where I lived, and I couldn't afford anything else, so that's what I did. So I took classes I've always wanted to take, and I think I took like a second capstone because I was bored. Just stuff like that. Yeah, so I started that. I started this. Like, this whole thing came because there was a knitting group on campus, but they didn't really understand the whole indie dyer thing, the Ravelry thing, designer thing. They didn't get it. It was very much a let's knit scarves and hats, which is great and wonderful, and I'm so glad that it existed, but they also didn't really love that I knit for myself. They didn't understand the sweater thing. They didn't understand why I'd spend money on yarn, why I liked wool instead of acrylic. It was just a very judgmental group, to say the least, and I got out of that environment pretty quickly. I think I went to like 3 meetings, and I was like, I can't do this anymore because I like what I like, and they're making me feel really bad about myself. So I stopped doing that, and I kept watching knitting podcasts and decided to start one of my own because I had no one to talk to about it. I would talk to my mom, I would talk to my fiance at the time, Doug, about it, and they also didn't understand. Also, hi Mom, I know you're watching. But it was nice to talk about it, but I wanted some feedback. I wanted, a conversation rather than, this is what I'm working on, isn't it pretty? which is helpful, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I started this podcast, and I didn't think anybody would watch it. If we're being perfectly honest, I thought I was going to be screaming into a void. And it turns out that people wanted to watch it, and I'm still really blown away by that. And the fact that we just reached 3,000 subscribers is like, I'm kind of dumbfounded about it. I don't understand it, but I really appreciate it. Yeah, just this little humble podcast that, it's not fancy. I record on my iPhone front facing because I like to make sure that I don't look stupid. Most of the time I do, though. And I have a dog running around and a baby, and talking about really emotional things, and people keep coming back. And I from the bottom of my heart, in the most genuine way possible, which it never sounds genuine, and I always feel stupid doing it, but just thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for talking to me. It means more than you will ever understand, because without this podcast, I wouldn't have the knitting friends that I have. I wouldn't be going to Vogue Knitting Live in 3 weeks, and staying with two of my favorite knitting friends, best knitting friends, turned real life friends. I wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't be seeing people. I wouldn't have gone to Rhinebeck in 2017. I just wouldn't have done it. And I'm really excited for what this year is going to hold. And so let's talk about it a little more. I'm trying not to get too emotional, because I'm already a little emotional right now. And so I'm trying not to be, but I could just gush forever about how amazing this community is and how amazing all of you are, and even the negative that I've gotten. It's funny because I can text my friends and be like, look how this person said this to me. Like, can you believe it? And it's fun. I'm referring to specifically the time that somebody told me I need to stop talking about how negative my pregnancy is, because nobody's gonna want to get pregnant. That was a fun day. Anyway, so with that, because we hit 3,000 subscribers, I tried to not look at subscriber counts, because it's hard to not compare yourself to other people. So I try not to do that, because it makes me feel really lucky and also inadequate sometimes. But like 3,000 is nothing to sneeze at. Like, that's a lot of people. Thinking about it, that's a lot of people. That's like 3 of my high schools. That's crazy. So I want to do something special. And since it's coming into my 3rd year with 3,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway. I haven't decided of what yet. So stay tuned. Hopefully I'll announce it in the next week or 2. And we'll see what happens. Yeah, so that's one thing I want to start doing this year. So last year I was really overwhelmed with the pregnancy and just emotions surrounding the pregnancy and just life things, and I don't know. Last 2 years have been really rough. Last year and a half it's been really rough. So I'm just gonna kind of leave that in the past and stop talking about it and stop apologizing for how just absent I was for a while, because it's what I needed to do to be better. So I'm gonna stop apologizing about that, and we're gonna do giveaways again. We're gonna do knit-alongs again. That's coming in 2019. I'm trying to figure out the first knit-along. I'm hoping to start it in February. I'm just gonna put this out there, because I think I wanted to do this 2 years ago, and then just stuff happened. Or last year and stuff, I don't know. I really want to do a cozy sweater knit along where it's literally any sweater with positive ease. And I think that's what I'm going to make my Ronin. Okay, so stay tuned. I think it's going to be February 1st. February 1st to April 1st? Yes. Yep. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Get yarn. Any sweater with positive ease. Yep, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. So, yes, doing knit-alongs again and all that kind of stuff. I really want to be more active this year. I want to be more interactive this year. And so one way to do that is to do giveaways and knit-alongs. So stay tuned for the 3,000 subscriber giveaway. It'll only happen on YouTube. I am going to try to revigorate the Ravelry group. I think I'm going to put a thread in there for 2019 goals. Yeah, so let's chat about this thing real quick. So there's a lot of negativity around this time of year when people are setting goals and resolutions. So, one, you do you. If goals and resolutions are not your thing, then just don't do them. For me, for my personality type, I really like to set goals and work towards things. And to work towards things. I can't speak very well today, apparently. Yeah, so it's just because I've had people in the family, I've had people on the internet, just kind of like, I feel very targeted because I am that person. I've always been that person that likes to make New Year's resolutions, to have a word for the year. Well, this is the first year I'm doing a word for the year. And just, I like them. I like goals and I like resolutions. I like arbitrary goals throughout the year as I think of them. I like it. So, again, if it's not your thing, that's fine. Like, you do what makes you feel good. Like, just do that. It's not a big deal. For me, I have an entire, this is like journaling. I have goals. I like goals better than resolutions because, I don't know, resolutions, I feel like there's a long thing of, oh, sorry, I'm getting a Esther ball so she can play. I just feel like I always abandon resolutions, but I always strive towards goals, so I like the word goals better. Again, to each his own, do you. So one of my both life and knitting goals is to just go for it. Just go for it. I have lived my life very timidly. I don't like taking chances. I don't like risk. I like the risk board game. I don't like risk in my real life. My foot is asleep and it hurts. Yeah, so I am just going for it. And that's kind of a nice segue into the whole Patreon thing. My foot is so asleep and it hurts really bad and Esther's sitting on it. So just pardon my grimaces because it hurts. It's pins and needles. That's better. Okay, so Patreon. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's a way for people who create free content, like this podcast, to gain monetary support. I really like keeping my YouTube channel ad-free. That's something that I kind of pride myself in. Not only because, I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of ads on free media. Which, I mean, how else are you going to pay for it, right? But, for me, I like having control over ads, and I don't feel like I'd have enough control, and I also don't think the revenue is really worth it. So I would just rather keep it ad-free. So one of the ways Patreon is going to help support this podcast is to keep YouTube ad-free. That's like, there are different tiers of giving, and honestly, I want to preface this with nothing is being forced. Nothing is being, I don't know, I don't want you to feel pressure. And people have told me to, like, not talk about, like, the you don't have to side of this, but I don't want anybody to feel guilty. I don't want anybody to feel pressured. I don't want that at all. But if you like what I create, if you want more, if you want higher quality, it costs money. And it costs a lot of time to do things. And I know podcasters talk about that a lot, and video podcasters talk about that a lot, but it does. It takes a lot of time, and I'm not someone who edits yet. That is coming in the new year. Equipment upgrades and such, but like my computer from 2010, 11, that can't run for more than 2 minutes. Yeah, so it costs money, and it also, I don't feel motivated to create for free now that I have my daughter, because it's like, she's taking a nap right now, but when I want to edit, when I want to do things, like, that's one of the reasons I stopped Vlogmas, is I didn't feel like it was worth the time and for Doug or I to do it. And so it's just one of those things where I really enjoy creating. I really want to do more. Like, I want to do more, but if I do more than I'm doing now, that's a lot of extra time, and it's a lot of time away from my daughter. So I want this to feel more like a job, even if it's a very low paying, like, $1 a month job. Like, I don't care. Even just the little bit of support goes so long. And if you think about it, again, no pressure. And if you don't like this, turn it off. I don't care. Whatever. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want people to feel like I'm like, do this so that no. That's, if you know me at all, not a thing. But yeah, I want this to become more of a job. And again, I'm just going for it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And if it works out, I can't even fathom how excited I would be. But I want to do things like reviews, interviews, knit nights, stuff like that. So I have some things up my sleeve. So we'll talk about that eventually. But yeah, so if you're interested, head on over to Patreon. I have a link below. You can, if you give $1 a month, it's 25 cents a video. If I only do 2, it's 50 cents a video, but it's going to be every Monday I'm uploading, from now on, starting next week. So yeah, it's just, and there are so many of you who have already donated, and I am just flabbergasted by the support already. But with that, you will get special videos just for you. Things like Doug and I trying something new. Maybe even like Doug and I like having a drink and playing a board game, and just kind of that kind of stuff. There will also be possible like knit nights with just me on Google Hangouts or something like that. There will be, I'm going to try to interview some of my friends. I want to give you some LYS tours, because I have a few really cool yarn stores around me that I don't think get enough love. Yeah, I want to go for it. I want to talk more in depth about products that I love, that I think are really worth the money. I want to talk about yarn. I want to talk about projects that I've made that were just the best things in the entire world. I want to do more. So, that's what you're gonna get. And a lot of the stuff will be early access by a week or two, and then it'll go up on YouTube for everybody else. And it's really just, I kind of hate this, but at the same time, like, this has been free for 3 years. You know, and it's going to continue to be free if you want it to be free. Esther, you're being a butt. Yeah, so it's really, it's motivation for me to create more, and I want to create more content for you and for myself. And if you want it to be free, it'll be free. And if you enjoy supporting creators, then you have that option for as little as $1 a month. I hate myself so much for that. Anyway, money's a weird thing to talk about, but I'm just giving this option, and you have special. Patreon changed some things around, so I don't know how giveaways work now, so I have to look into that. But special videos just for patrons, and also early access, and hopefully some giveaway kind of things. So there's that. And then just to wrap this up, this is going way longer than I thought it would. Like I said, I will be recording regular episodes starting Monday next week, which is also my 2-year wedding anniversary, which is crazy. Yeah, I'm just going to create more content this year, and I'm just going to go for it, because I'm going to go, so I kind of have like a mantra for the year and a word for the year, so this is going to be my last little bit. So my mantra for the year is to just go for it. Just go for it. If I'm worried about, like, I feel weird doing a Patreon because I don't like asking for money for something that I'm doing for free, but it's a support, like, it's, other people do it that I really respect, and I feel comfortable doing it because it's not forced. But I'm just going for it, because if I can turn this into something, and I can turn this into a job, why would I not want to do that? So I'm going for it. So I'm just gonna go for it. I applied for SSK. I'm just going for it, and I got in. Like, what? Like, I am just so lucky. And I've been very timid about going after what I want for so many years, because, and this kind of goes into Amy Beth's The Fat Squirrel recent video about being knitworthy, which I am just, if you haven't watched it, go watch it, but I think everybody has at this point. I just sat there just sobbing, because it's exactly how I feel right now. And I also want to be more conscious of, like, feel good about yourself, and because I feel like I've said things in the past where, like, because I just had a baby and I gained a lot of weight with my pregnancy, I'm starting to lose it now, which is, for me, because I don't want other people to feel bad about themselves in any way, but I just didn't feel healthy. I don't feel healthy. I don't feel good about myself, and I just want to get to a place where I feel healthy, I feel good, and I'm just not there. And it has nothing to do with how much I weigh. It has nothing to do with my size and clothing. I don't care about that. I did for a little bit, but I just don't care anymore. And her video kind of helped me realize that I don't care about weight, I don't care about size, I just care about feeling good and feeling healthy. So, like, that's something that I'm working on, but I also felt like there are things like my Ronin. I spent a lot of money on Brooklyn Tweed yarn, and Esther babe, and I didn't, because it's a very oversized cardigan, and I didn't want to knit like a certain size, but I'm past that. I just want to feel good. And so, like, that's one of my goals, is to feel good in my body. one of my goals. I want to be present for my daughter. I want to do more things outside. I want to start hiking. I want to start rock climbing. I want to do stuff like that. I want to be more generous with my time when I'm around other people. I want to be more present. I want to put my phone down. I'm going to therapy next week for the first time since I was in high school, and that was like school therapy counseling. And so I'm doing that, and I just want to be better for myself and better for other people. And I'm traveling by myself for the first time in a few weeks, and that's something I've always wanted to do, and I'm so excited about it. I want to date my husband more. I want to write more. I want to live minimally, which is my word of the year, is minimize. I want to be more intentional with what I buy. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional about this, but I just feel very strongly about just being a better person, being the person that I've always wanted to become. I want to be that person that brings reusable bags to the grocery store. I want to be that person, so I'm gonna do it. Just do it. Just go for it. I used to be really self-conscious about how I look carrying tote bags around. Who cares? I want to use straws less, which is something I really have to work on because I love drinking iced coffee out of straws. So if you have favorite reusable straws, link them below. Specifically if they're from Amazon Prime. That'd be great. Yeah, so and I want to eat better because when I eat more like plants, I feel better. I never feel good after I consume a lot of dairy, even though I love dairy. Mac and cheese and Alfredo are my favorite foods. It was also all I could eat during pregnancy, and that was not good for my body. So I want to eat healthier. So yeah, there's that. Exercise more, which I've actually been doing a lot of. I've been going for a bike ride at least 20 minutes a day. It's a stationary bike, but I've been doing that. My foot's asleep again. It feels weird. But I've been doing that 20 minutes a day, and it makes me feel better. It gets a lot of negative energy out. There was actually, I need to wrap this up because it's almost a half an hour, but there was, I had a really, intense workout, and I was just really upset because, if you're new, I had a miscarriage, not this past July, but the July before that, and the due date is January 7th, which is also our wedding anniversary. So like the due date, what would have been their 1-year birthday is coming up. It's Monday. I'm trying not to cry right now. And so it's been hard for me, and I did a really hard workout to get out just how I was feeling, and I let myself cry, which felt really good. And it just working out just got those emotions out for me, and then it snowed. It was just a whole thing, and it was, but I don't think I would have worked through that without riding the bike for half an hour. My daughter's awake, so I'm gonna wrap this up. So I just think being more intentional this year and just minimizing my life into just the stuff that matters and makes me feel good, and rather than trying to be trendy, rather than buying things because everybody else has them. I want to do more of what I love, be around the people that I love more, be kinder to myself, to others, and just go for it this year. I'm very excited for the content that I am going to create for you this year. I am excited to take a journey with you this year and really just kind of discovering who I've always wanted to be and just going for it. I'm really excited to go on that journey with you guys. to be more vulnerable, to just to talk about things that I don't think enough people talk about. Because we all go through stuff, and like right now I'm having a really hard time dealing with the fact that I would have had a 1-year-old next week if everything would have gone okay. Like, I'm having a really hard time with that. But I'm going to therapy and it's going to be great. I will report back to you on how that goes, because I think therapy is something that everybody should do. I think it should also be more accessible to people, and I'm very lucky, and I know that I can do that. Yeah, so I want to be more open with struggles and more open with my growth as a human. Yeah, just take you along for the ride. So along with new knitting content, and knitting wise, basically it's buy less stuff, and knit things that I'm actually going to wear and will be staples in my wardrobe. So I need to stop looking at trends, and really just knit things that I know will flatter my body, make me feel good, and be in my wardrobe until they give out, essentially. And yeah. So those are basically my knitting goals. I'll get more into them next week. But thank you for listening to my little spiel, my little rant. Again, if you want to support the channel, literally just any amount that you feel is not necessary, any amount that you feel like giving will go a very long way. And I'm also going to be very transparent about what that money goes towards. And mostly right now it's going to be upgrading computer so that I can edit, using my husband's camera to film. That's basically what it is right now. So go on over, the link should be below. Follow on Instagram. There should be a shop update in the next 2 weeks. It should be before Vogue Knitting Live. It will be a ready to ship update, and then in February I will be rolling out pre-orders. A lot of that will be colorways that come from the advent calendar, which thank you everybody for sharing your advent calendars. I'm really glad you liked them. I really hope you liked it. Can't wait to do it again this year. Yeah, so just stress knits, I'm just going to be going full steam ahead into SSK, introducing new bases, toying around with some non-superwash, more tonals coming to you, because I really think a lot of us this year are going more towards just wearable clothing rather than crazy speckles. I like subtle speckles for clothing, but you know, we'll just see where it goes. And I'm just really excited for the business. I'm excited for the podcast. I'm excited for you. So share below what you're excited about this year, what you want to do, whether it's a goal, resolution, thoughts, whatever it is. Just share below what you're gonna do, because I love hearing these things. I find them very interesting. I like getting ideas from other people. Why are there so many stink bugs in this apartment? It drives me crazy. Yeah, so I'd love to hear from you. I'm also going to be opening up a chatter thread in my Ravelry group, which is the Stress Knits Podcast Ravelry group. I'll also link it below because I haven't been on there in like a year. Over a year. So, and we're going to discuss goals, aspirations, resolutions, whatever you want to call it, for the new year there, as well as below. Again, I will try to be as present in that as possible, but no promises, because I have a 6-month-old daughter that also needs my attention. So hopefully at night I can just go through that and communicate with you guys. But yeah, I think that's it. This went way longer than I thought it would. I I'm really excited for this year. So thank you for listening, and I will see you on Monday with a new episode of Stress Knits.